Hello everyone. Let's take a moment to strengthen and mobilize the hips. So we are going to be using a TheraBand today, and any TheraBand will do. If you don't have a TheraBand, you can always use a pair of stretchy pants. And we're going to lay down just on a flat surface here, and we're going to place that band around the arch of one foot. Take a moment to find the tension that feels good. Your triceps or the backs of your arms can be reaching down into the table. And let's bring that leg into shelf, starting to reach that leg out into space, resisting the band and feeling like you're creating this movement from the hamstring glute, or we can also think about this as where kind of the bottom of the butt cheek, that connection between the hamstring and the glute. We're going to take about 5 of these, extending out, and we're going to begin to lift and lower that straight leg. And again, feeling that hamstring glute gets to be part of this, to extend out, lifting, lowering that leg, bringing it back into a shelf. Continuing for 5. Now we're going to start to create small circles right through the hip joint. So nice and focused, as if we're just stirring that femur head within the hip joint. Think like a mortar and pestle. And we're going to take 5 in each direction, keeping that tension on the band and staying with where your pelvis feels steady. So not only are we creating movement through the hip joint, we're also honoring, where does my pelvis want to move instead of my hips? We're going to start to open that leg out to the side, taking it across the body and really allowing that leg bone to drop down as if it's coming back into the back pants pocket. Windshield wipering side to side, and again noticing, where does my pelvis want to move to compensate for some limitation or some tightness through the hips, and taking this a few times from side to side. And then keeping your leg up to the extent that feels right for you and the tightness you might be holding through the back of the leg, let's just point and flex the foot. Taking this a few times while the toes stay nice and easy, and then moving into some ankle circles. After which we can begin to take some big circles, leg moving through the hip. But again, what size of circle honors the stability that you can hold through your pelvis? So we can imagine, if you had back pants pockets on the backs of your pants, where can you keep both back pants pockets steady into the mat as you're circling your leg around? Reversing directions after 5. Let's switch sides. And between each side, let's take just a moment to notice what feels different from side to side. You can let your legs relax long. You can take a pelvic curl and a pelvic extension, and just noticing what feels a little different, which helps you get an idea of why we're doing what we're doing. And then we'll take that now to the other side. So band can be placed across the arch of that foot. And we can start by bringing the leg into shelf, extending out from the hamstring glute, reaching into the resistance of the band. And we're aiming for 5 here, after which we can add in that lift and lower of the leg. So taking your time, moving at the pace that feels right for you. And of course, if you have a TheraBand, sometimes they can snap back on you. So if you have a pair of pants, you don't need to worry about this. But I'm just grabbing another band here. There we go. And returning to your movement. So strap gets to go across the arch of the foot. We are pressing out through the hamstring glute, finding the tension that feels right, and honoring the range that allows us to keep our pelvis steady. So notice that our pelvis is not rocking up and down or from side to side as we're moving that leg. Now, as your leg comes up to the top, let's start to take those small focused circles of the leg through the hip joint. And again, a visual I really like is that mortar and pestle, where we're really just stirring the femoral head within the acetabulum or within that hip joint. So feeling that we are creating a little more depth and connection with every revolution of that circle. And then we can begin our windshield wiper back and forth. As we take that leg from side to side, taking it across the body as well, just noticing where does my pelvis feel steady amidst this, and that helps you find your range. Because if our pelvis is just rocking back and forth, we're losing the objective. We're missing out on the opportunity to move the leg through the hip. As you come to the starting point here, let's point and flex that foot. Toes get to stay as soft as possible. And then we can move into some ankle circles, just a few times in each direction. And then go ahead and start to take your big circles here. That stable leg can stay bent or it can relax out long. But again, noticing how big of a circle can I create with this leg while my pelvis stays steady. And the resistance band is here just for, a little extra feedback, a little support for that leg, a little added resistance. So taking advantage of how much resistance feels good. What does it feel like to do this with more resistance or less resistance? And then go ahead and remove that strap from your foot. You can set it aside, and then again, noticing the difference between each leg. You can let your legs relax long. You can bend the knees, find your curl and your extension through the pelvis, or you can even take this up into a bridge and just holding at the top to feel the space that's possible for your hips through your pelvis. Breathing before you gently set your spine all the way back down. And you can either continue on with the rest of your day, or you can, lead this into some more movement. Hope to see you next time.